About what I'm finna say. I want all parents with kids that's 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. This video is for you. You have raised your kids. You are not a perfect parent. You didn't do everything right, neither did I. I definitely wasn't a perfect parent. And if you did show up to some football games, if you did go up to the school, if you did cook, if you did wash clothes for them, you do not have to allow no grown ass kid to sit there and hold you in bondage just because they're your kid. You have done everything you were supposed to do as a parent, even though you were not perfect. I want to free you today. I want to rid you of guilt. I want to rid you of the manipulation that, hey, you're my dad and you're supposed to buy me a car, or you're supposed to do this, or you're supposed to let me continue to live in your house and not take out the garbage and not pay bills and not do yard work, the sense of entitlement. And I want to free you today. And I want to let you know that you are not living your best life if you allow your biological son or daughter that don't want to work, don't want to educate themselves, don't want to be better, don't want to take out the garbage, don't want to wash their own clothes, don't want to clean up their room, very disrespectful, and want to use your car, don't want to wash it out or clean it out, and just have a sense of entitlement. And I want to encourage you today, if you want some peace in your life, or it can lead to your death, whether it be a heart attack, whether it be a stroke, or whether them bringing the wrong people in your house that come in your house and see that you got a couple of flat screen TVs and come in there and kill you and the rest of the kids that's trying to do what they supposed to do. See, stop putting all your time and your energy to some damn Negroes that don't want nothing. Put their ass out your house and let life whoop their ass, because they're too old for you to put a belt to their ass and whoop them. So let life, let everything outside that window whoop that ass, because that's the best lesson ever for them. Get them up out your house with the bad energy, the laying around and eating and won't clean up the kitchen and won't do nothing and got little slick stuff to say and they don't pay no bills. To hell with them. And for those of you that got kids that's out here in these streets, that's really in these streets, you need to prepare the rest of your kids. Say, hey, you know what?
So listen, when it comes to that video, Rickey Smiley going on a rant about parents for children's ages 17 to 25 being grown and you've done all that you can and just throw them out in the world. I feel like there are some things missing from that conversation. For example, for you to be able to just say you're going to toss your children out in the world at 17 to 25, forgetting how hard it is to be 17 to 25. Like, you literally go from being told what to do every day of your life from infancy to about 17 or 18, and then you become an adult and there's like no smooth transition. It just happens. And most parents have not been developing their children to be prepared for that transition. And he's talking about cutting them off cold turkey because they won't do certain chores, because they won't get a job, because they won't do this. But if what was happening, what he's not taking into account is what was being poured into those children years before they became a legalized adult. And his idea is that you should kick your children out at some of the hardest years of their life. What I feel like is not being discussed is that a lot of people who have this type of mentality, and I think Rickey Smiley is either an older Gen X or a younger boomer, is that this is the same group of people that feel like their children need to take care of them in their old age. Forgetting, one, children didn't ask to come into this world. Two, you threw them out because you felt like they needed to grow up and do it on their own, claiming you did the best you could. I really want some of y'all to define what is your best. And then I feel like there's this lack of emotional availability that a lot of y'all like to brag about not having when it comes to your children because, oh, you had to work and you had to pay bills and you had to do all this. Again, those children you brought into the world while you had to pay bills and go to work did not ask to be here. So while you were raising your children and doing the best that you could and not being emotionally available and guiding them in the ways that they probably needed to be guided in certain areas, you were also not working on being the best person that you could be for your children. A lot of you like to brag about, oh, well, my parents left me alone for hours at a time and we made it. My parents beat me and I turned out all right. We didn't say I love you to each other in the home on a regular basis, but I knew they loved me, I guess. Not considering that in all that time you were unavailable. A lot of these people think that raising children happen through osmosis of children watching them. No, you have to literally be physically present to raise children and guide them. And while you may not get everything right or be perfect, a lot of you are talking about doing the bare minimum and not going above it. And it's sad. And I would not be surprised that your children grow up and treat you the exact same way when you need them the most.